Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. Life is not about what people say they are. It's about what their actions reveal. Words are cheap, but behavior is priceless. You don't need a lifetime to see who someone truly is. You just need to pay attention to the right things. Let me share 5 things that will show you someone's true character. When it comes to understanding someone's true character, one of the clearest indicators lies in how they treat people who cannot help them. This principle is simple yet profound, cutting through the superficial layers that people often use to mask their true selves. It's easy to be kind, polite, or respectful to someone who has power, status, or influence over us. But the real test of integrity comes when there is nothing to gain, no advantage to be taken, and no recognition to be earned. Think about it. In a world that often values results and rewards above all else, how someone interacts with individuals who hold no leverage or influence over them can reveal the truth about their values. For example, when someone walks into a restaurant, how they speak to the server tells you far more about them than how they greet their dining companion. When they pass a janitor in the hallway, do they acknowledge their presence with a smile, or do they walk by as if the person doesn't exist? These small moments, often unnoticed by the person committing the action, are like windows into their soul. Kindness and respect shouldn't be transactional. When someone treats others well only because they expect something in return, that's not kindness, that's manipulation. Genuine kindness flows freely, unencumbered by conditions or expectations. It's not performed for applause or appreciation. It exists because it's rooted in a belief that every person, regardless of their position or circumstance, deserves dignity. This type of kindness isn't taught, it's lived and practiced in the quiet, ordinary interactions of everyday life. Now, let's consider the opposite behavior, those who only show respect to those who can help them. Such people tend to view relationships through the lens of utility, sizing others up based on what they can gain. When confronted with someone they perceive as unimportant, they may become dismissive, condescending, or outright rude. But here's the truth: their behavior doesn't say anything about the person they're mistreating. It speaks volumes about them. It reveals insecurity, entitlement, and a lack of empathy. There's a particular kind of strength in treating every person with the same level of care, regardless of their role or status. It's a reflection of emotional intelligence and humility. People who act this way recognize that worth isn't measured by titles or possessions, but by the shared humanity we all carry. They understand that the person cleaning the office late at night is just as valuable as the executive sitting in the corner office. They see people as people, not as tools to be used or obstacles to be avoided. This principle also holds true in times of frustration or stress. It's easy to be kind when things are going well, but when someone is tired, upset, or under pressure, their true character tends to surface. If they snap at the cashier after a long day or yell at a delivery driver because an order is late, what does that say about them? Stress doesn't excuse cruelty, it magnifies what's already inside. In those moments, the mask slips and the person reveals their deeper nature. On the other hand, those who consistently treat others with respect, even under pressure, demonstrate a strength of character that is rare and admirable. They have the ability to see beyond their immediate circumstances and recognize the humanity in others. They understand that a small act of kindness, like a kind word, a patient tone, or even simple eye contact, can make a big difference to someone who may be struggling in ways we can't see. How someone treats people who can't help them shows what they value most. Do they value power, recognition, and self-interest? Or do they value compassion, connection, and humility? The answer lies in those small, unguarded moments, the ones that many think don't matter. But they do. They always do. Rejection is one of life's most humbling experiences. It strips away the facade, challenges the ego, and lays bare a person's true character. How someone handles rejection is a powerful indicator of who they really are because it touches on the deepest parts of their emotions and values. While many people view rejection as a personal failure or a direct attack on their worth, others use it as an opportunity for reflection, growth, and resilience. The response to rejection reveals much about a person's maturity, mindset, and capacity to navigate life's inevitable challenges. When faced with rejection, some people crumble under the weight of disappointment. They internalize the no as a reflection of their inadequacy, believing that the rejection defines their value as a person. In these cases, the inability to separate rejection from personal identity creates a spiral of self-doubt and fear. For example, consider someone who applies for a job but doesn't get the position. Instead of recognizing that it might not have been the right fit or that there were factors beyond their control, they allow the rejection to dictate how they see themselves. They begin to doubt their skills, lose confidence, and shy away from future opportunities. This reaction, while human, speaks to a fragile self-esteem and an inability to separate external circumstances from internal worth. On the other end of the spectrum, some people react to rejection with anger or entitlement. They see the rejection not as a natural part of life, but as an affront to their ego. They lash out, blame others, or try to manipulate the situation to get their way. For example, a person who is told no by a colleague or superior might respond by undermining that individual, gossiping, or acting out in frustration. This reaction reveals a lack of emotional control and an unwillingness to accept that life won't always go as planned. Instead of learning from the experience, these individuals often damage relationships and their own reputations in the process. Then there are those who approach rejection with grace and humility. They understand that being told no isn't the end of the world, it's a stepping stone. These individuals don't see rejection as a reflection of their worth. Instead, they view it as a moment to pause, assess, and grow. For instance, an entrepreneur whose business pitch is turned down by investors doesn't throw in the towel or lash out. Instead, they ask for feedback, refine their approach, and try again. They know that rejection isn't failure, it's part of the process. This mindset requires resilience, self-awareness, and an ability to separate temporary setbacks from long-term goals. Handling rejection well also means recognizing the context. Sometimes a rejection isn't personal at all, it's circumstantial. A romantic rejection, for example, might have nothing to do with one's value as a person and everything to do with timing or compatibility. Similarly, not getting a promotion might be less about one's capabilities and more about company dynamics. People who handle rejection with poise understand this. They don't jump to conclusions or let their emotions cloud their judgment. Instead, they seek clarity and perspective, ensuring they learn from the situation rather than being consumed by it. One of the most powerful ways people handle rejection is by using it as fuel for growth. History is full of individuals who turned rejection into motivation. Consider authors whose manuscripts were rejected dozens of times before becoming bestsellers, or athletes who were cut from teams only to rise to greatness later. What sets these individuals apart isn't their talent, it's their perseverance. They don't let rejection have the final word. Instead, they use it as a catalyst to work harder, refine their skills, and prove to themselves, not others, that they are capable. The ability to handle rejection gracefully doesn't come naturally to everyone. It requires emotional intelligence, which includes self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and social skills. Emotional intelligence allows a person to acknowledge their feelings of disappointment without letting those feelings dictate their actions. Instead of reacting impulsively, they take time to process, reflect, and respond thoughtfully. They also have the empathy to understand the perspective of the person or entity delivering the rejection. For example, a job candidate who isn't hired might recognize the challenges faced by the hiring team rather than assuming malice or bias. Resilience is another key factor in handling rejection. Resilient individuals don't see rejection as a dead end, they see it as a detour. They understand that setbacks are temporary and that perseverance is often the deciding factor in success. Instead of allowing rejection to weaken their resolve, they let it strengthen their determination. This ability to bounce back from disappointment is what sets successful individuals apart from those who give up too soon. How someone handles rejection says a lot about their relationship with themselves. People who are secure in their identity and self-worth don't need external validation to feel valued. When they face rejection, they don't crumble or retaliate because they know that their worth isn't defined by someone else's opinion or decision. They have an internal compass that guides them, allowing them to maintain dignity and confidence even in the face of disappointment. In life, rejection is inevitable. No one is immune to it. But how a person responds to rejection defines their character far more than the rejection itself. It's in those moments of disappointment and challenge that true character is revealed not in words, but in actions. Power is one of the greatest tests of a person's character. It has the potential to uplift and inspire or to corrupt and destroy depending on how it is wielded. When someone is entrusted with power, whether it is in their personal relationships, professional life, or social influence, their choices reveal who they truly are. Power is not inherently good or bad, it is a neutral force. However, the way an individual uses power speaks volumes about their values, priorities, and maturity. It reveals whether they are guided by integrity and a sense of responsibility, or by selfishness and greed. A person who uses power wisely understands that it is not meant to serve their ego, but to serve others. They approach their position with humility, recognizing that power is a privilege, not an entitlement. Such individuals see their role as one of stewardship. They are entrusted with power to create positive change, uplift those around them, and make decisions that benefit the greater good. For example, a manager who genuinely cares for their team will use their authority to create a supportive work environment. They will advocate for their employees, ensure fairness, and provide opportunities for growth. These actions reflect a mindset of service and a deep understanding of the responsibility that comes with leadership. In contrast, power in the hands of the wrong person becomes a tool for domination and self-gratification. These individuals view power as a way to elevate themselves above others, often at the expense of those they are supposed to lead or support. They may manipulate, control, or intimidate to maintain their position, using their authority to silence dissent or force compliance. For instance, a leader who prioritizes their own interests over the well-being of their team reveals a lack of empathy and vision. Instead of fostering trust, they breed resentment and fear, creating a toxic environment where people feel devalued and expendable. This abuse of power doesn't just harm others, it ultimately undermines the individual wielding it, as it alienates those they depend on and erodes their credibility. How a person uses power also becomes evident in how they handle conflict and opposition. Those with a healthy relationship to power understand that it does not make them infallible or beyond reproach. When faced with criticism or disagreement, they respond with openness and a willingness to listen. They use their authority to foster dialogue, find solutions, and build consensus. This approach demonstrates not only confidence in their position, but also respect for the perspectives of others. It shows they value collaboration over control and are secure enough to admit when they are wrong or when they need guidance. On the other hand, individuals who misuse power often react defensively or aggressively to any challenge. They see disagreement as a threat rather than an opportunity to learn or grow. They may use their authority to suppress dissent, punish those who question them, or surround themselves with people who only echo their opinions. This behavior reveals insecurity and a fragile ego, as well as a lack of respect for the responsibilities that come with leadership. Instead of using power to unite and inspire, they use it to divide and conquer, often leaving a trail of broken relationships and damaged trust in their wake. True leaders recognize that power amplifies their impact, both positively and negatively. They understand that the choices they make, no matter how small, ripple outward and affect countless lives. This awareness drives them to act with integrity even when no one is watching. They resist the temptation to use power for personal gain, knowing that such actions betray the trust placed in them. Instead, they focus on making decisions that reflect their core values and prioritize the well-being of those they serve. This commitment to ethical leadership creates an environment of trust and respect, where people feel empowered and motivated to give their best. The way someone uses power is closely tied to their level of self-awareness. Individuals who are in touch with their strengths and limitations are less likely to let power corrupt them. They are mindful of how their actions and words impact others and take care to use their influence responsibly. They understand that power is not about control or dominance, but about creating opportunities, solving problems, and leaving a positive legacy. This perspective allows them to lead with compassion and wisdom, balancing authority with humility. Power is a mirror that reflects a person's true self. It reveals whether they are driven by a desire to uplift others or by a need to elevate themselves. Those who use power with humility, integrity, and a sense of responsibility leave a lasting impact on the people and communities they touch. They prove that power, when used wisely, can be a force for good, a tool to inspire change, build connections, and make a meaningful difference in the world. A crisis is one of the most revealing moments in a person's life. It strips away the facade, the pleasantries, and the rehearsed responses, leaving nothing but the raw essence of who they truly are. How someone responds to a crisis tells you more about their character than any words they might say when things are going well. In moments of difficulty, uncertainty, or chaos, their true nature is laid bare. It's in these challenging times that their resilience, integrity, and priorities are most visible. In a crisis, there are those who immediately focus on finding solutions. They approach the situation with a calm, measured demeanor, even if the circumstances are overwhelming. These individuals are not necessarily fearless, but they refuse to let fear paralyze them. Instead, they channel their energy into action, breaking the problem into manageable pieces and working through it step by step. They understand that while they may not be able to control everything, they can control their response. This level of composure reveals a deep inner strength and a commitment to taking responsibility even when the stakes are high. People who respond well to crises also demonstrate a remarkable ability to prioritize the needs of others. Instead of focusing solely on their own fears or challenges, they think about how their actions can impact those around them. They show empathy and compassion, stepping up to offer support, guidance, or reassurance to those who may be struggling. For example, a leader in a crisis might take the time to communicate honestly and openly with their team, addressing concerns and providing a sense of direction. This kind of leadership fosters trust and stability, showing that the individual values the well-being of others as much as, if not more than, their own. Another key trait that emerges during a crisis is adaptability. No matter how carefully someone plans, life is unpredictable, and crises often force people to confront the unexpected. Those with strong character demonstrate flexibility and creativity in the face of such challenges. They are willing to reassess their approach, try new strategies, and even accept help if it means finding a solution. This willingness to adapt shows humility and an understanding that rigidity often leads to failure. It also highlights their resourcefulness and determination to move forward, no matter the obstacles. However, there are those whose true nature becomes evident in a less favorable way when a crisis hits. Some individuals may crumble under the weight of pressure, allowing fear or panic to dictate their actions. While this reaction is understandable in extreme circumstances, it often reveals a lack of preparation or inner resilience. These individuals may become defensive, blame others, or retreat entirely, leaving others to pick up the pieces. Such behavior highlights an inability to face challenges head-on, raising questions about their capacity to lead or support others in difficult times. Even more telling are those who use a crisis to serve their own interests. Instead of looking for ways to resolve the issue or support those affected, they exploit the situation for personal gain. They may manipulate others, shift blame, or focus on protecting their own image rather than addressing the problem at hand. This self-serving behavior reveals a lack of integrity and empathy, exposing a person who is more concerned with self-preservation than with doing what is right. Such actions not only damage relationships but also undermine trust, making it difficult for others to rely on them in the future. On the other hand, individuals with true character often find a way to rise above the chaos, using the crisis as an opportunity for growth and reflection. They don't shy away from acknowledging their mistakes or limitations, but instead, they use these moments to learn and improve. They understand that a crisis, while challenging, can also be a chance to strengthen their resilience and deepen their understanding of themselves and others. This perspective allows them to approach difficult situations with a sense of purpose and clarity, even when the path forward is uncertain. Another defining characteristic of those who respond well to crises is their ability to maintain their principles under pressure. It's easy to hold on to values like honesty, fairness, and kindness when everything is going smoothly. But when faced with a crisis, some may abandon these principles in favor of expedience or self-interest. True character, however, is revealed when someone chooses to stand by their values, even when it's inconvenient or difficult. For example, a person of integrity will remain honest about their mistakes, even if doing so risks criticism or backlash. They understand that preserving their principles is more important than protecting their pride. Those who excel in crises often have a clear sense of accountability. They don't waste time pointing fingers or deflecting blame. Instead, they take ownership of their role in the situation. Whether the crisis is a result of their actions or entirely beyond their control, they focus on what they can do to make things better. This sense of accountability not only reflects their maturity but also inspires confidence in those around them. It shows that they are reliable and trustworthy, qualities that are invaluable in any relationship or leadership role. A crisis reveals who someone is at their core. It strips away pretense and forces them to confront their strengths, weaknesses, and priorities. Those who rise to the occasion with resilience, empathy, and integrity leave a lasting impression, proving that character is not defined by what happens to us, but by how we choose to respond. In these moments, the true depth of a person's values and leadership becomes undeniable. The way someone celebrates others' success speaks volumes about their character. It's a reflection of their self-confidence, humility, and emotional maturity. When someone genuinely rejoices in the accomplishments of others, it signals a spirit of generosity and a willingness to see the bigger picture beyond their own desires. This is not always an easy thing to do, as human nature often wrestles with feelings of comparison or envy. Yet those who can rise above these emotions show a strength of character that is both rare and admirable. True celebration of others' success begins with a sense of security within oneself. People who are comfortable with who they are and what they bring to the table are not threatened by the achievements of others. They don't see someone else's success as a reflection of their own shortcomings. Instead, they view it as a testament to what is possible, a source of inspiration rather than a cause for insecurity. These individuals can cheer for others wholeheartedly because they recognize that life is not a zero-sum game. Someone else winning does not mean they are losing. When a person celebrates others' success, they demonstrate an understanding that achievements are often the result of hard work, determination, and sacrifice. They acknowledge the effort that went into reaching that milestone and offer their congratulations sincerely. This acknowledgement shows a deep respect for the journey others have taken, even if it differs from their own. It reflects empathy, an ability to put oneself in someone else's shoes and recognize the significance of their accomplishment. Such genuine recognition can be incredibly uplifting for the person on the receiving end, reinforcing their confidence and sense of worth. On the contrary, when someone struggles to celebrate the success of others, it often reveals insecurities or unresolved feelings of inadequacy. They may downplay or dismiss achievements, choosing instead to focus on their own frustrations or perceived failures. This behavior not only diminishes their relationships, but also creates an environment of competition rather than collaboration. It signals a mindset rooted in scarcity, where someone else's gain is viewed as their loss. Over time, this attitude can isolate them, as people naturally gravitate toward those who uplift and support them, rather than those who harbor resentment. Another significant aspect of celebrating others' success is the ability to set aside personal ambitions and be happy for someone else, even when one is facing their own struggles. This is perhaps one of the truest tests of character. It's easy to cheer for others when everything is going well in your own life, but doing so during moments of difficulty takes immense emotional maturity. People who can rise above their own challenges to genuinely celebrate others exhibit a selflessness that strengthens relationships and fosters mutual respect. There's also a difference between performative celebration and genuine joy. Some may offer surface-level congratulations while secretly harboring envy or bitterness. But those who truly celebrate others' success go beyond mere words. They actively support and uplift the person, often taking actions to further their success. They may share their achievements with others, offer assistance to help them reach new heights, or simply be there as a source of encouragement. Their actions match their words, and this authenticity is what builds trust and deepens connections. Celebrating others' success often reflects a mindset of abundance. These individuals understand that success is not limited, there's enough for everyone. They see the success of others as an opportunity to learn and grow, perhaps even as motivation to strive for their own goals. They are not consumed by comparison or jealousy because they believe in their own path and timing. This perspective allows them to appreciate others' victories without feeling diminished by them, creating a positive cycle of encouragement and support. In relationships, the ability to celebrate another's success strengthens bonds and fosters a sense of unity. It shows that the individual values the happiness and progress of others, not just their own. Whether it's a friend, family member, or colleagues. Celebrating their achievements communicates that their joy is shared and that their efforts are recognized. This creates an environment where everyone feels seen and valued, encouraging a culture of mutual respect and admiration. The way someone celebrates others' success can inspire those around them. It sets a tone of positivity and reinforces the idea that kindness and encouragement are powerful tools for building connections. When people see someone consistently uplifting others, it creates a ripple effect, encouraging them to adopt the same mindset. It becomes a source of inspiration, reminding everyone that success is sweeter when shared and that celebrating others does not diminish one's own value. Celebrating others' success is about more than just kind words. It's a reflection of one's values, emotional strength, and capacity for empathy. It reveals whether a person sees the world as a place of opportunity for all or as a battleground of constant comparison. Those who can embrace the success of others with sincerity demonstrate a level of character that is both admirable and impactful. They show that true strength lies not in outshining others, but in lifting them up. Actions truly do speak louder than words, a timeless truth that cuts through the noise of everyday life. While words have the power to inspire, comfort, and persuade, it is through actions that our true intentions, beliefs, and values are revealed. People can say anything, they can promise the world, offer kind words, or declare their commitments, but it is their actions that determine whether those words hold any weight. What we do, how we respond, and the choices we make in moments of challenge, joy, or sorrow tell a much clearer story than anything we say. At the heart of this idea lies the principle that actions are a direct reflection of a person's character. Words can be manipulated or spoken with the intention to deceive, but actions are much harder to fake. They represent a commitment to something or someone. Think about someone who constantly promises to be there for others, but repeatedly fails to show up when needed. Their words may carry weight, but their actions reveal the truth. They don't prioritize those promises. On the other hand, someone who speaks little but consistently shows up, delivers on their promises, and supports others in times of need shows through their actions that they value trust, loyalty, and reliability. Actions also have the power to leave a lasting impression. While words may be forgotten over time, the impact of a thoughtful gesture or a meaningful act of kindness is often remembered long after the words have faded. Consider a leader who inspires their team not by grand speeches, but by rolling up their sleeves and working alongside them, demonstrating dedication and a willingness to share the load. This kind of leadership leaves an impression that far exceeds any motivational speech. The actions of the leader speak volumes about their commitment to the team and their belief in shared success. In contrast, a leader who simply talks about ideals without embodying them through action will quickly lose the respect and trust of their followers. Actions are a way to communicate our values and priorities in a much more tangible way. When someone makes the effort to act in line with their beliefs, it serves as a clear signal to others about what matters most to them. For example, someone who cares deeply about environmental conservation might not just talk about climate change, but actively participate in local cleanup efforts, reduce their own carbon footprint, and advocate for sustainable practices. These actions provide concrete proof of their commitment, demonstrating the depth of their passion and the importance they place on taking responsibility for the world around them. Actions like these build credibility because they show that the person's values are not just words, they are principles they live by. Actions are not just important in terms of positive impact, they also reveal our true motivations and character in difficult situations. When faced with adversity, stress, or conflict, people often reveal the most about themselves. Words are easy to come by in times of ease, But it is in moments of pressure, difficulty, or hardship that true character is exposed. For example, someone who is under stress might make excuses or lash out with harsh words, but someone who understands the value of emotional control and responsibility will respond thoughtfully, showing patience and resilience. These actions in tough moments reveal a much deeper sense of integrity and emotional intelligence than any words could express. Another area where actions speak louder than words is in relationships. Relationships are built on trust, mutual respect, and shared experiences, not just promises or sweet words. People can say all the right things, but it's their actions that create the foundation of a strong, lasting bond. If someone claims to care deeply about another person but never takes the time to listen, be present, or offer support when needed, their words lose meaning. In contrast, someone who may not express their feelings as often but consistently acts with kindness, loyalty, and respect proves their love and care through what they do rather than what they say. The gap between words and actions is often most glaring in the way society looks at promises and commitments. Politicians, leaders, and public figures often make grand promises to win support, but when those promises are not followed by real action, disillusionment and distrust follow. On the other hand, people who make smaller, less grandiose commitments but follow through earn trust and respect over time. This principle applies to all levels of interaction, from the personal to the professional. Actions that demonstrate follow-through, accountability, and responsibility speak volumes about a person's ability to be trusted, respected, and relied upon. Actions can be a source of healing, inspiration, and motivation. When someone takes action to help another person, whether through a simple gesture or a significant sacrifice, it creates an emotional bond that words alone cannot create. The act of doing something, whether it's offering a helping hand, taking the time to listen, or going out of one's way to make a difference, can provide a sense of comfort and security to others that words simply cannot convey. It's through these actions that we form deep, meaningful connections with one another, because they show that we are willing to invest time and energy in making a positive impact. Actions speak louder than words because they reflect the depth of who we are. They reveal our true beliefs, priorities, and commitments, offering proof of our character. Words can be fleeting and insubstantial, but actions have weight. They are a reflection of our intentions, our emotions, and our capacity to follow through on the things that matter most. Whether in relationships, leadership, or personal growth, it is what we do, not what we say, that leaves a lasting impact on others. Actions build trust, create connections, and demonstrate the strength of our resolve. In the end, our actions define us far more than our words ever could.